Hello and welcome to Disc Golf Network's coverage of the final round of the 2022 United States Disc Golf Championship. We are in Rock Hill on the campus of Winthrop University for the Arena course. Nate Sexton and Brian Earhart with you.
We have almost an entirely new lead card today. The chase card from yesterday has now completely replaced, except for Niklas Anttila, the other three competitors. And now we have Calvin Heimburg, Paul McBeth, and Gannon Buhr joining Niklas on this lead card. And this course gets nervy when the pressure rises.
This is going to be incredible. We have the two young guys that have just been playing out of their mind, Niklas and Gannon. Gannon being 17, Niklas 19, the European champion from Finland. And then the old guard, I guess you could call him now, certainly McBeth. Calvin a little younger, but some guys that have just week in and week out been champions and contenders at every tournament for the last few years. So this is going to be incredible. Kind of the new blood and the old guard. So often our tournaments come down to that storyline, but man, I'm always ready to watch it again.
Please welcome Niklas Anttila.
Oh, that's so good. That's great from Niklas. I've been fortunate enough in my life to sleep on the final day lead at the USDGC 2 times. And I will say that this hole is just kind of waiting for you.
Yes.
As you're trying to go to sleep. You're like, okay, so what am I going to do? They're going to say my name. How am I going to set the tone? How am I going to tell these other guys, I'm here to play. You're not getting one from me right now. You're not gaining momentum and thinking that I'm going to falter. Like, I need to find a way to make a shot right when I get there. Ooh. He will have kicked backwards enough to not miss the Mando and be forced to re-tee with a penalty, I think. But that's tough.
United States champion from Huntington Beach, California. Please welcome Paul McBeth.
Paul McBeth is chasing Ken Climo's all-time major record. A win here today would tie them up in terms of all-time most successful MPO player.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of hard to stick a bullseye on this hole with that log about 60 feet short. So, yeah, these are all pretty solid shots.
Yeah, I think you love that, being long and having a less nervy putt, going back uphill a little. And heck, you might even ace the thing. We've seen it a couple times already this week. Gannon tries a flex play, hits that tree, and I think falls just short of the log. Wow, Calvin gonna have to work hard here. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I think Calvin has a lot of fans out there just hoping that he closes out a major victory. Finally, he's on so many lead cards in so many tense moments. Hasn't quite delivered so far. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of delivering, my goodness. 60-footer down the hill. Gannon Buhr's putt is a thing of beauty.
I mean, it's a perfect 60-foot putt. No wobble, perfect speed, strong side. That's the way to start.
So good. Outside the circle, no problem. And McBeth a little strong from that same spot.
All right, the young guns take the birdie, and the veterans taking pars going into number 2. The holes played well all week. Got players getting birdies up the middle, got players throwing the hyzer right, skipping up straight to the basket, hitting a nice putt from the left side usually. 409-foot low ceiling.
Just needs to get back to its edge. I don't think it will, but it's going to be inbounds. Effectively a great layup, even though he was attempting to play more aggressive than that. Oh, what a phenomenal kick. That was thrown directly OB. Good break there, and he's going to have another similar length putt.
That's the third shot, and a second shot that's bounced back in bounds. Third shot that's been stood up on. A little bit too much. I'm not sure if the wind was that high.
Hole 2, despite perhaps looking relatively simple, is the fourth hardest hole on the course today, and it's producing bogeys at a really high rate because of all this tight OB down by the basket. Able to generate so much low forward power out of the straddle stance. Calvin almost connects. Another one outside circle 2.
Inches from dropping.
On to number 3, par 4, 841. Buckle up, it's a long drone flight to get down. Got the hazard area in the center, not really playing a factor for any of these guys. This left one they do have to think about. Try to push as much power as they can with the big hyzer. Stand it up just ever so slightly, and ideally come into the area where you can get around this Mando with a skipping forehand and maybe set up a birdie putt. We have not seen many birdies on this hole this week.
Yeah, I kind of like where the drives are landing a little bit farther right, so that really forces that technical roller or a really precise forehand on the second shot.
This is moving left. I assume it has the distance.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it isn't even as far left as I thought it would be. So that's going to be roller as your only option for birdie. We'll see how aggressive he feels like playing. He has been really clean with that blue roller disc.
That looks more left.
Yeah, it sure does. How much does he clear that hazard by? Wow. 2 feet? Scary, but great.
Perfect shot. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, even better.
It's flipping up a bit too much. That's going pretty forward. Oh, boy.
Yeah, not much but a layup back there. Here is that roller we were talking about. Ooh, catches some early tree. Does it push past the mandatory? That is honestly close. With the new mandatory rules, had that curled even 5 or 6 more feet, that's scary. But he does. He's past it. He's going to have an awkward shot.
Look at this.
Are you serious? I'm not sure what he hopes is going to happen there. I mean, it has to be a layup play, but a disc does not U-turn like that, right? I mean, there's no way that. What are we talking? 70, 80-footer best case.
Weird choice. And Gannon with a huge skip forehand.
How did he do that? That was great. So he's going to have the look. You know he's running it. He's Gannon Buhr. And Calvin, one of the best positions I have seen on this hole. Gets the huge skip, a little too huge, if anything, but he's going to have a birdie putt as well. I guess maybe McBeth is just chiefly concerned with distance and setting up a more gradual angle back into this green, which he did. But, that's going to be a frustrating one. He's going to have to prove it with a nice putt. I think this shot is sort of sneaky difficult. He did it perfectly, but just to overturn it, underturn it, there's a lot of things can go wrong there. Oh, mama. What a putt. And that's almost, I mean, he almost hit from 70 on the last hole. If he can sort of like, continue to putt as if this isn't the last day of a major championship and he's 17 years old. I mean, he's kind of proven that to us all year. He's clearly a top 10 player in the world. But, man, he's just striping him. If he can stay in his routine, in his rhythm, and do that, it is going to be so difficult to make a move on him because his driving is almost unrelated to his score if he can stay in bounds.
Paul just takes the first bogey of the card, and that's going to separate himself even more from Niklas.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, the shot Paul had was not so difficult into the green. I understand staying aggressive, trying to throw that roller and see if you can make something happen, but there's also something to be said for when you're way out of position, just secure a par and move on. Paul unable to do that on this occasion. Checking in with our leaderboard through 3 holes, Niklas Anttila continues to hold that 1-shot lead at 24 under par. Gannon charging hard with the beautiful birdie at 23, Calvin 22, and Paul 20. Still that big gap down to 5th place. A lot of names in the hunt for 5th at the moment.
Hole number 4. Seen some players struggle on this hole. We've also seen some players really just, like you said, stripe the disc down the middle of this really tight fairway. I'd say the tightest we have on the course right now, 7-8 foot gaps all the way down to the basket here. You have to slide it up to the basket, hit the brakes here, and it's a low ceiling, so you don't really get to throw something slower. You kind of have to speed up to the fairway driver or really power up on that mid.
Oh, wow. Great shot. Inside C1. Little bit of a missed line. nearly fortunate. If he could have got under that branch, he still probably would have made C2, but connects with that. He's going to have an easy approach, but I think birdie is out the window.
Oh, boy. He is deep right, and that right side by the basket is terrible.
Yeah, that's going to be really difficult.
And he just doesn't connect again.
Certainly not the start I expected to see from Paul McBeth today. Going to be 1 over most likely through 4. Gannon Buhr with a putt to go 3 under through 4. That's just a crazy start.
Yeah, this is what I thought. No option to attack the basket. He's going to have to just drop one over the corner here.
Needs that not to roll at all. Nicely done.
It's a tie ball game at 24 under par. He's 3 down through 4, and he's essentially made every putt. I mean, he was a few inches off on hole 2. His stroke looks perfect right now.
Yeah, and I mean, if anything, he probably takes confidence away from a 70-footer that hits the band. I mean, nobody expects that to drop. Gannon Buhr might be close to expecting those to drop today. I mean, he's looked dialed, but wow, dream start. That's for sure. Obviously, this tournament is won and lost on the back 9 out here at Winthrop with all that out of bounds, but it is certainly an advantage to push to the lead and to be able to react to your competitors' shots and to be able to potentially play strategy on the 17th, the daunting 17th that has ruined so many players' chances. To be in the lead is big.
And we're going to jump to hole number 5 here. This is another hole that you can very easily birdie. You have a stock forehand off the tee. You throw a straight mid on your second shot. And then, yeah, the toughest shot on the hole, just accessing this green. The players are starting to kind of wise up to where they need to throw that third shot. Give themselves a putt right side of the basket, fat part of the green. Again, there's a lot of cushion you can give yourself on this front 9.
And pretty left with this, but that might be by design. Sets him up with maybe a better angle to attack with the backhand hyzer or the backhand mid like you were talking about.
Oh, that's straight.
Sit down. Nice.
It's actually fine. He has a hyzer now for his second shot.
I bet he hated it out of his hand,
Yeah.
but you just never, it's so hard to tell where that water line is. As you can see, blind to the players. But he's going to be happy to have seen a green flag there.
Okay. There really is a lot of space down there towards the water.
Yeah. I think players that are looking for a backhand on their second probably prefer being over there.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody right in the same little area. You can see all 4 discs. Nobody trying to do too much off the tee, which makes a lot of sense on this par 5.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Yeah, that'll be manageable distance.
Lining up the big hyzer. This is aggressive.
Yeah, got the nice heavy angle, though. I wouldn't expect much skip. Wow, and he's lucky he didn't get any because that is just perfect, pushing it all the way back to within about 15 feet of the water's edge. Calvin, pretty conservative. Slow speed disc and turnover, so he'll have perhaps approaching an uncomfortable distance across into the high 300s. And McBeth follows him over there. Looking pretty good. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's the area the player's targeting. Edge of circle on the right side. Gives you a great birdie opportunity and doesn't make you have your heart in your throat as your disc is flying over the water. This looks very similar.
About 50 feet. Still pretty far. Uh-huh. Look at this.
Wow.
I love how in Niklas's swing, you know exactly the angle of hyzer that he's about to throw. It's so simple.
Yeah.
It's such a good throw.
We're going to see a huge hyzer here. This is the advantage of throwing this aggressively because he's so close. He can just take this over everything and absolutely remove the skip from the equation. Perfect shot into about 20 feet.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
And you feel like McBeth needs it, and he knows he needs it. As these kids are putting on a show, things starting to slip away. If he misses this putt, clearly this could hit the top or the rim and end up in the water. That is just so clutch from McBeth. Into a slight headwind to boot.
It's an understandable miss with the OB right behind the basket.
Absolutely. Gannon 4 under through 5. The best start we have seen.
He doesn't look stressed either. He looks very relaxed throwing these shots. Every putt looks like it's coming out super loose and super smooth. But also, Niklas is also keeping pace.
Yeah.
Hole number 6. Got to play the ground play here. It's got to be a stock, kind of a low pushing hyzer. This is a shot these players throw quite a bit on this course. Drive on 15 is very similar as well. At this point in the tournament, it's not easy to make this shot happen again. You could very easily get nervous and skip OB left short. You could stand up on it with adrenaline, send it long OB, and then, yeah, you have a terrible, risky putt from a drop zone.
So many of these holes are two-stroke swingers.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, it just puts that extra pressure because a miss is punished pretty brutally. Flex line looks phenomenal. This guy is on fire. And the pressure he's putting on the other players. Amazing shot. Man, what an answer.
He has thrown this same exact tee shot, it seems like, every round.
That was perfect. Does this have the distance? Yes, it does. Little scarier, but plenty into the bullseye. Wow. 4 on the sand.
Okay.
That's great. You don't see that very often. Usually at least somebody has some issues here.
Calvin under par.
Five under. What a statement start. Looking at our leaderboard, that 5 under is what stands out to me. 26 tied at the top, Calvin 23, Paul 22. A couple nice 4 unders from Matt and Ricky trying to close that gap, but it's a big job trying to come back from 5 or 6 behind to get in the conversation for perhaps the podium. They're going to have to keep the foot down all the way today, probably go double digits at minimum to be in the conversation.
And one of the holes you can do that on is number 7. You can throw straight through this triple mando, pick up an easy birdie, walk to the next hole, or you can make your tournament much more difficult from a mental standpoint if you do happen to miss this gap. Some players have been even opting to lay up short this tournament, but I doubt anyone on this lead card is going to do that. Look at this gallery.
It's a thrill for these guys. Even Paul McBeth, you know, just to play in front of all these energized fans. So fun. And just another picture perfect shot from Gannon Buhr. That's an important little roll. Instead of laying up there, he's got a very makeable 42 or so footer. So not that bad a result.
Paul just going super low, sliding it up. Great shot. Paul's starting to heat up a little bit.
Needs to drop. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty good. Keeps his share of the lead.
What a run so far by Niklas. He is just standing up to Gannon Buhr on a course record type of pace. Niklas not backing down. Errant drive, sticks the putt anyway. His mental strength on display.
Yeah, it really is wild. We've been talking about Gannon the whole time, but really minus hole 4, Niklas has had the exact same round pretty much. It's wild.
Yes.
But just much quieter, more consistent. Hole number 8, speaking of Niklas, this is a perfect hole for his roller that he's been really loving. executed this hole very nicely. All you have to do is put a backhand or forehand out into this range about here, and it all depends on placement. Do you want to throw the flex forehand underneath this low ceiling? Do you want to go for the more technical roller and swing your shot out to the right side? This is a fun technical par 4. I enjoy it.
I do too. And what I'm not so sure, I mean, I do enjoy it, but I'm a little surprised how low these guys are going.
Yeah.
I really thought coming into this tournament with the changes, I kind of thought 26 under, 25 under might be in contention. I was way off. These guys are blitzing the course right now, and it's looking like you're going to have to get into the 30s, well into the 30s, to win this thing.
And that's exactly what he wants again.
Good shot. Distance is just not all that important here. It's way more important that you hit the right line and open yourself up to either the roller or the low forehand. I think you're not too concerned with getting way, way up there. Nicely played.
I feel like for the roller, I like being on this right side a bit more. You have at least a little bit more of an open gap to shoot through.
Same thing for the forehand.
Yeah.
The left side is not great.
Yeah, I like this. Yeah, where Niklas is at on that left side, he has to challenge those overgrown trees a little bit more. Hyzer flip all the way into a roller.
This looks so good again. Little long. Oh, but never mind. Great reaction. I think he's probably behind the bush from about 40, 45 without that tree. Rolls up that, and he's C1. A little heavy on cut to my eye.
Good eye.
Oh, thanks, man.
Hard chop forehand.
Wow. Extremely overstable disc. Clearly missed his angle there. Big opportunity for Niklas, I think. You know, and what, like we said, what's been kind of the Gannon Buhr story, he won't be birdieing this one. And Niklas has a chance to get the outright lead.
This looks a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, this is a weird spot.
Oh, he had to go over the baseball field.
Yeah.
Nice shot.
Great effort by McBeth. .28 under. Solo leader Niklas Anttila. And how far can McBeth and Heimburg afford to fall back? I mean, obviously there's potential for huge numbers coming through this Coliseum section into the 17th and the 18th, but I don't think you want to count on any of that from these two kids. They're playing so well. It's got to be go time for Paul McBeth.
You look at the game plan of Niklas, too. He's playing a lot of these holes extremely conservatively, too. He lays up on 12. He lays up on 10. There's really not a lot of room for him to have a huge number happen. So, yeah, this is tough. And, you know, this might be the riskiest shot that he goes for on number 9. But still, it's a stock Hyzer. Why would you not go for this green?
Yeah, you have to go for this one, I think, especially because single bogey is basically the ceiling of what you could possibly take on this hole. So, because you're going to go to the drop spot. So you really got to roll the dice here. And I don't know that, you know, the dice are stacked in their favor as good as these guys play.
Definitely.
It's not that hard a shot. but certainly some severe punishment if you come up short or long. I feel like this is perfect. Very, very nice shot. It is so huge. Just any kind of bullseyes you can have and just move on to the next one without expending any mental energy, any focus. You kind of get the feeling when you're playing that there's sort of a limited supply of those things as you're trying to fight through a big major like this. Both these guys put it so close, they don't have to stress on these putts, can just kind of start letting your mind move ahead in the course.
And that's even closer.
Wow.
Yeah, they might need to add another tree.
Yeah. Yeah. Those were great. That's your longest putt you're going to see on this hole. I doubt any group played it better than these four. Seven down, front nine.
That's a good round as it is.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great round
that's
as
a
it is.
1060. That's a 1055 rated score, I would guess. 7 under for the entire course. I mean, we did see a 12 from Joel Freeman. That's the current course record. If Gannon can keep this pace up, I mean, I don't know. Not a lot anybody can do except Niklas. You know, those are the two guys right now that are in it. Niklas with a phenomenal 6 under. This is just not how you expected it to go. The two young guys laying it down and separating themselves from McBeth and Heimburg for the moment. 29, 28, 25, 24, and Matt Oram, that guy trying to bridge the gap at 21. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We have just 9 holes left to decide the final major champion, the United States champion for 2022. Come on back. We got the back 9 next.